In this episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, we have a very interesting guest with us here today. I'm with Olga Padulosi, and she's heading over from AppFollow. And AppFollow is doing some very interesting stuff in the space of the app review management category. And essentially, they're going to be there to, provide you a new channel to support your mobile app growth. And we're going to be learning from Olga all about AppFollow today and also about her position within marketing. So appreciate it and welcome to the show, Olga.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Thanks for the introduction here. So yeah, I run marketing at AppFollow. Just let me tell you a bit briefly about myself. So I have over 10 years of experience in marketing, mostly B2B marketing, coming from Russia initially, but then going into more international space. I was leading I used to work in a kind of mobile space, then going more into technology, and then now I'm back to the mobile industry overall. Before, like prior to AppFollow, I was responsible for bringing a ton of international speakers to Moscow. Some of them were the first time there for a mobile development company. After that, I ran an expansion of a local Irish investment fund into various markets in Europe and the States, Canada. And yeah, now I'm at AppFollow, and I was the first marketing hire, and I used to run marketing department as a whole, but as the company grows, now I moved to a partnership marketing role mostly. And yeah, let me tell you also a bit more maybe about AppFollow. So in addition to what you've said, so AppFollow is the app management platform, and we automate monitoring, analyzing, and insights processing from organic traffic, reviews, ratings, and various crucial data around mobile apps. The idea itself was born at a hackathon in 2014. Now we grew into 80, I think we're now even a bit more than 80 people. 80 fully remote people who work from different countries. So I myself am in Dublin, Ireland. Our founders are in Helsinki, and we have like a ton of people covering, different projects from different countries. And now we serve over 70,000 clients worldwide, including guys like Disney, Jam City, Discord, Flow, Playrix, Hotels.com. Anyone actually, like no matter if they're mobile first companies or just, let's say more traditional businesses.
Could you tell us like the types of companies that you're serving? Like, why do they start using AppFollow? Like, what is it that maybe the challenge that they have, and why do they get started?
Sure. So the main challenge nowadays, first of all, is the competition in mobile app world is super high, because there are like, I think there are over 8 million apps now on the App Store and Google Play. So you can imagine that everyone wants their, place under the sun. So teams who come to us, their goal is to automate their app management, anywhere from increasing organic traffic to managing app reviews. As we are used by various teams in the companies, marketing, product support, community, every single one who is actually responsible for app growth from any side of the product. And we're launching a ton of different features. So we're also expanding to let's say serving analyst teams, BI, and whatever you call them inside your company. But yeah, so like initially their goal is to get more insights from their data and automate their routine, like their daily tasks, so they can let's say that they can pay more attention to really important tasks rather than doing some stuff manually.
Makes a lot of sense. Who would you say is typically sort of the champion within those app teams? Is that like a marketer? Is that like, head of operations? Like, who's typically, is that even
Uh,
founders? So,
yeah, so it depends, always depends on the size of the company. So if we're talking about kind of smaller companies, it can be anyone from founder itself, themselves, or SEOs, or head of departments or something like this. If we're going for a bit bigger companies, and we mainly now serve large enterprises, no matter, as I said, if they're mobile first or kind of businesses like Disney, let's say, so they are not really kind of app, they haven't been initially app related. But so yeah, for them we would cover both management and specialists, let's say, like roles. So for the management, we would provide an overview of how their campaigns are working or how their product is performing, and kind of give them a broad picture of whatever is happening with their product, and then they can dive deeper into details. Say if it's a marketing team, they need to understand how their keywords are performing. So if they want to go and dive deeper, they can also do this. So we'll also show this data to them. The same is for support and product teams. So they can either understand how the overall app performance is going from the point of view of app rating, or app reviews, because support teams are the ones that generally work with app reviews, or like, if say that how many do you get on a regular on a daily basis, if you get more positive or negative or anything, and then you can go inside and understand why do you get this, what people write there. So yeah, it's anything from an overview into a deeper dive for people who actually don't build a strategy, but they would they would be responsible for like tiny actions there that make it a huge impact into the company.
Okay, really, really good. That gives a good overview. Could you tell me, you mentioned 70,000 clients. That is, a lot of clients since you guys have been starting in 2014. Like, how do people hear about AppFollow? Like, what is a typical journey, or what would you say is the main client acquisition channels?
Yeah, so I think we're kind of a very traditional SaaS business from this perspective. So organic is the main channel for user acquisition for us. Think Google search or Bing or whatever. Like now, I think that Google would be, would take the major part. Together with the word of mouth, and we also work really hard to increase our brand awareness. So before, pre-COVID times, it was like offline events, meetings and everything like this. Now it's mostly online. And also, as we are all remote, and we also cover like a ton of we also work with a lot of companies from different countries in the world. We are mostly doubling down on kind of our online presence. So, but we leverage every single, like all marketing channels. So we do use paid, we do use referral, and my role now is also to build a proper collaboration with our partners. So that we call kind of a referral channel. But yeah, like I'd say around 60% of our leads would be coming from organic search.
Makes sense. Obviously, if there is such a dependency on the digital channels, which is super interesting to see, what role? I mean, obviously the website plays a key role, but how would you sort of look at the website? What do you consider is the sort of the main strength at the moment of the website? Is it the ability to convert? Is it the quality of the leads that it provides? Where do you see the strength?
Yeah, so also like thinking that we're in 2021, and I'd say that everyone has to kind of pay a lot of attention to their online presence. I don't even know how other businesses, let's say, would do without their like overall presence on the internet. So our website is the major, let's say, converting tool for us. So we constantly run a ton of experiments, change the design. Also, I think this is something like traditional for SaaS businesses to change design once, I don't know, a year or something like this. If you look, at big companies like Intercom, Zendesk, these guys like always iterate on, always play with wording and stuff. So for us, it's as I said, that we drive a lot of our clients come from organic channel. So our website is kind of the main tool for gaining those gaining this traffic, gaining those clients. Say, like, also think about organic channel as SEO. And for us, we use our website as a place where we can place keywords that will drive more relevant registrations, together with our blog, where we can share our stories of our clients, share our expertise and stuff like this.
And on the flip side, where do you see room for improvement on the website? What is something that you think, or maybe that you guys are working on in order to bring it to the next level?
Yes. So firstly, I said like the first thing, I think there was a joke on the somewhere that they were saying that when a new marketing leader comes, the first thing that they do is they change their website. So I wasn't an exception to that. So I changed it the first, I think, 3 months I was after I joined AppFollow, and there is always a room for improvement. I mean, internet evolves, and the way that people search for stuff also changes every single day. So for us, it's also important to kind of follow the trend on how people search for things. Do they actually, so like we rely a lot on technology, and to check in how people found us, from like keywords to channels where they came from, or requests that they were that they searched for in Google or something like this. So we always let's say play with keywords, if I can say this way, and we always run a ton of experiments on let's say if we change a place of our logos or like customer quotes, will it actually will we benefit from it? If we add a video, will we benefit from it? So yeah, there is always room for improvements, and for us, it's also super important to see the customer journey itself from the moment that they visited the website, actually even maybe before. So as nowadays, with all those tools that would show you where people came from, then like how did they end up on your website, what landing page, I don't know, you also track if you use UTM links or whatever, so you can see where they came from, campaign, any other placement, whatever, and then till the moment that they convert. So what kind of pages do they go to? Did they read your blog? Which kind of articles they did? Did they register and then disappeared? Stuff like this. So we carefully track this data, and for us it's super important also to understand this to make let's say our offering to our clients more targeted. Yeah.
This has actually been a big topic of the Pathmark Presents podcast, like talking about the tracking, figuring out where people come from, how they behave. Like, any tips for other marketers out there? Like, how do you what's your setup in regards to that tracking?
Yeah, so we have an amazing mix of our CRM system and like our analytics tools, and also our internal. Let's say it's not really an internal CRM, but I can kind of call it like this. So we use this magic mix, let's say, from like amplitude that will tell us where the people are coming from, and then we would see internally in our kind of private area, if these people came, if like what kind of channel was it, so when did they register, what kind of stuff did they look into already inside the tool itself. And also I would like my kind of main advice is to rely on data. So use as many tools as you possibly can for understanding what did your user want when they came to the website. So say, like we cover this, let's say 3 kind of main departments in companies, and we will never offer a marketing team a tool for support teams. So if you understand what is the pain point of your customer, or like a potential lead, who came like to your website, make sure that whatever you offer actually relates to that and actually will be able to solve the problem itself.
So if I understand correctly, because it actually was just in, I think, the last podcast that we had, where we deep dived into the tracking of the different channels and how people behave on the page. So you have a combination of amplitude, internal tools, if I'm understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So we also very into, like seeing how, like internally in our CRM, what, for example, do they talk about with our sales team? So especially, for marketing people, it's super important to have this, I can't even call this like friendship. I think it should be like a marriage between, marketing and sales teams. Also adding like success team there, because you need to understand where people are coming from, what they talk about, and read those conversations, get those insights, and base your, marketing offering and wording and whatever you pitch your company, just based on whatever your clients told your sales team. So like you can just even use, some wording from there, because they are the best ones to describe whatever problems they're facing.
And if you would have a magic stick, like what is it in terms of tracking that you feel as a marketer is still missing? Like there's so many puzzle pieces. What is still missing?
I think that I know there are a ton of companies who would give you kind of an intent data, but I think that they're not super accurate. So for us, I think that every single marketer would like to understand how did people come up with their problem? How did they say, they did a research, they went to this particular website article or something like this, and a month after they came to you and they registered and now they're clients. So I think, if there was a magic stick, I would really love to know what was the journey before they came to your website, or the one that directly linked to your website. So that would be fantastic.
Super cool. A couple of questions on marketing in general, right? We've been discussing them in the podcast quite a bit. What would you say is the biggest challenge when it comes to bringing in innovation to marketing at the very moment? Like if you want to bring in innovation into your role, like what is actually the challenge?
I actually think that unfortunately a lot of people would still use very kind of traditional channels. So I think there are like two points here. First is how hard it is to implement it. And second is, or better, first one would be, how hard is it to come up with something innovative that would actually work? And the second one is how hard it is to implement it. So there are a lot of tools that would be, I don't know, you need involvement of your tech team, your analytics team, or like sales team, and some like a lot of stakeholders who would be involved. And then you just need to, to put a code on your website, and you cannot do this yourself. Or if you can, it may not be working properly or something like this. So that is a very, very painful thing that I came across. And yeah, the first one, going back to it, is that a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I also made the same mistakes. You think that you need to follow people in your industry, but in reality, it's better to also get inspired by other companies who are not related to you, or and run those experiments, and not to be afraid of running them. So if you don't do anything, if you don't fail, you don't do anything. So that's something to keep in mind.
Super interesting. Since we are slowly but surely coming to an end of the interview, I would love to jump into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Yeah.
What is the last book that you read?
Whoa, that's a good one. So I sincerely love a book called Think Fast Slow. I reread it a lot of times, and it took me a while to finish it. So I'll call this one. I'll name this one.
Cool.
Definitely a huge recommendation for everyone who wants to understand how your brain works.
What is the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Building a product that will solve every problem of our customers.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would want to have fixed for your role in your company?
Getting results faster. Sometimes, you have to wait, sometimes even a month before you get the result of your experiment. So it's just this precious time that is being wasted.
Very cool. And the very last question would be, right, if today would be your very first day, right, working with AppFollow, what would be the one advice that you would give yourself?
Well, don't be afraid of trying more, and ditch those those things that don't work sooner. So yeah, and also, as I said, don't look only at your, maybe not competitors, but people in your industry. Get inspired by whatever, and run. Yeah, and don't be afraid to implement this.
Very cool. Olga, I really appreciate that you were part of Pathway Presents with us today, and shared your insights on AppFollow and your perspective on marketing. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody forgets everything that we discussed about AppFollow, what's the one thing that they should remember?
So if you have a mobile app and you want it to succeed, you should come to AppFollow.
Very good. Thanks a lot for being part of Pathway Presents.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.